So welcome to the 17th episode of our monthly knowledge bite session called Anveshan, and we have out of many topics we have selected artificial intelligence because this has been the talk of the town. I would say talk of the company. Lot of activities, lot of initiatives are going on in our organization. uh, I would request to keep your mics on the mute mode when you are not talking. You can turn it on whenever you want to talk. So, in this series, it has been more than a year long journey, and today, out of many topics that we have talked, we have come to one of very important topics: artificial intelligence. It has many verticals, and 1 hour time is just to give you an idea about what technology is, how it can be applied across organizations, what can be its business use cases, just to ignite our minds, because a lot of projects are coming up in our organization. So without much of a a delay in furthering this session, let me invite Sri Atanu Mukherjee sir, General Manager in charge academics and Head of Academics at MTI, to kindly welcome our speaker of the session and our guest from Future Skills Prime, Sri Neeraj Mani sir as well. Atanu sir, over to you, please.
Thank you, Janana sir. First of all, I like to welcome the Mr. Neeraj Mani and Mr. Ayush Maheshwari. Mr. Ayush Maheshwari is our speaker of today's knowledge bite session, and equally we are getting a constant support from NASCOM also, and in the FSP portal also. We are whatever we are performing, it is all due to the support of Mr. Neeraj Mani. So we are really thankful to Mr. Neeraj Mani also. And also I like to welcome all the executive director, though I understand today the chairman review meeting is on from 2:30. So some of the executive directors are engaged in the meeting. Uh, Whosoever is present in this online session, I like to welcome all the executive director and the chief general managers of sale, as well as the young group, the mentor, young people, those who are playing the role of a mentor in the reverse mentoring process. So I like to welcome all of you in this today's knowledge bite session. And as Mr. Chandranath has rightly mentioned, the today we have selected. In fact, we have not selected. You people have given us this topic. That is the AI and its workplace application. And this is not only the choice given by you, also our chairman sir as giving lot of emphasis in different forum that finally we sale people, we need to utilize the AI to the maximum possible to get the maximum advantage of this AI. So right from the in the different applications we are, and our SDGT team is also working along with MTI, where they will be also utilizing a lot of AI related tools in the different processes of our steel making process, right from the blast furnace, sinter making, coke oven, and all that. In the different process, those tools will be used. So it is so from this point, this particular topic of today's topic is very pertinent, and we all need to be understand, and also we need to be aware of the different AI application at our workplace. So from that point of view, we have kept this topic in today's knowledge bite session, and as already you are aware, we have conducted these number of sessions under this knowledge bite forum, like ChatGPT, social media, digital arrest, cloud computing, blockchain, etc. We have conducted, all different session on the emerging technology. The purpose of the knowledge bite session is that basically this particular forum gives us a lot of insight on the emerging technology. So, especially the young group, they are quite aware of all the different emerging technology. But similarly, our senior people, they should be also they also need to be aware of all the emerging technology. And for this purpose, this knowledge, reverse mentoring process is required. So this particular 1 hour discussion will basically provide a trigger to the further discussion, so that the mentor will get a topic, mentee will get a topic for taking the discussion further in the reverse mentoring process. So that is the basic purpose of organizing this knowledge bite session, so that our reverse mentoring process will be very very effective. So with this, wish you a very very happy learning ahead. It will be a 45 minutes to 50 minutes session, followed by your question answer session. So thank you, and over to Jagannath.
Thank you, sir, for your continued support. Today's speaker we have with a special arrangement with the help of Future Skills Prime, which is our partner in the capability building of emerging technology. You all are aware about Future Skills Prime initiative. If you haven't registered as of now, I would say you are in the last 20% of the bracket of the employees who have not signed up on the platform, because we have close to 80% of executives who are already on board. So do sign up immediately after the session if you haven't. If you have already signed up, do start your journey on Digital 101. So we have the speaker today, Mr. Ayush Maheshwari. Sir is BTech in IT in Information Technology and PhD in Computer Science from IIT Bombay, and has a long career working with Adobe, Framefox Media, Vizi Inc., and then co-founder of Temples of India, and now working as a senior solutions architect at NVIDIA. And he has a great skills in natural language processing NLP and Python programming, and working on the cutting edge research problems in AI at NVIDIA. So with that brief background, let me invite Ayush ji to kindly enlighten us with his wisdom about artificial intelligence and how we can leverage it in our organization. Ayush ji, please.
Thank you, Atanu sir, and thank you, Chandraji, for the introduction. Very happy to present. So, since Atanu sir mentioned about the basic advanced things that are happening with respect to the steel plant manufacturing and what are the advancement people have done, so I'll start with a particularly a demo video. So, while Atanu sir was speaking, I went to this website, NVIDIA website, where there are several models. I mean, you are aware of ChatGPT, Llama, and Perplexity kind of tools, but there's another kind of applications with which AI has been progressing very fast. So I'll just give you this particular example. So I just modified this particular prompt, like generate a video where there is a first person view from the perspective of a human sized robot as it works in a steel plant where steel manufacturing is happening, since sale is related to steel, and the robot has many boxes and supplies nearby. So I just modified this particular prompt to include, instead of steel, so earlier this prompt was something like this, human sized robot as it works in a chemical plant, but I just modified it to for a steel plant, and it will generate video for you. So what is the utility of the video? Video is particularly when you want to train models, for, let's say, doing automatic steel manufacturing or monitoring some the generated steel or quality checking for the generated product. Then you need more amount of data to train your model. So better the amount of data or the diversity of the data, the better model will be. So the model here could be like robot or a LLM that we use, ChatGPT or something like that. So now the AI has been not only been including in our text kind of task where we ask model to rewrite our emails, or generate some small code base, or generate a small article or blog post. It is also generating these kind of videos from the given text. So you might have seen videos from Ghibli kind of art where given an image, a realistic image, you can generate a Ghibli art, which is Japanese form of art. So now from the generation of image, now these models are capable of generating such kind of videos which can be used to train the models. So now we are moving from just text to a more from a physical AI perspective. So AI has been now going into the factories and automating processes by these kind of techniques. You can generate more models, more videos with which you can train these models. So like this is like text to world. I given a text, I can generate some world video, small snippet of the video, and there are like several examples. So this is just to begin with, since I want to excite the crowd about audience about like what are the things that are latest happening and can be probably used in your own factories or in your own workflows. So thank you, Chandraji, for introducing. My name is Ayush, and today we'll be discussing about how can we build LLM and agentic workflows using NVIDIA microservices. But NVIDIA microservices just an addition. You can use any kind of applications or any kind of tools to build these LLMs and agentic workflows. But NVIDIA offers a very easy way to build these applications, a low code without being requiring to be very technically adept or having a good experience with Python programming. Even as beginner can build these applications and agentic workflows and can do quick POCs to demonstrate or check whether this particular application is useful for my use case or not. So today we'll be discussing about what is the landscape of generative AI. So by generative AI, what do we mean? What do we understand? Then look at some videos where people are now using voice to voice for automating call center kind of applications, where the initial introduction of the customer is with the robot instead of the human. So there is like these kind of voice to voice applications which enable bots to answer in a more naturalistic way, in a more organic way that we human expect. And then we'll go through some few topics like inference microservices and the website that I've shown you, that's build.nvidia.com, that can help you in quickly building the applications, quickly POCs, and run your use cases to see if it is applicable or not in your setting. So yeah, so right now we are particularly looking at this particular topic, generative AI, where ChatGPT kind of applications are now all over the market, and we are using it to the good enough success rate. But generative AI has been, it's a subset of deep learning, which is again a subset of machine learning and subset of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence encompasses all the things which we are using with respect to AI. So it started in 1950s and 60s, where the task was to generate or solve a task by making computers to mimic human behavior. And the Turing machines that we probably heard of, so those were like self-capable machines to solve any kind of task. But then after 1950s and 60s, the pace of development of artificial intelligence was relatively slowed down because of multiple reasons. One is that these machines are dependent on data. These machines are not programmatic. So we'll also look at how different these AI applications are from the usual programs that we see. So you have looked at programs like calculators and websites that can, given a particular input, they can generate particular output based on based on the specific algorithms on which it is running. So these input output mechanism has been there with all the computer software applications. What has changed with the AI is that now the program or the algorithm is now mimicking, or is as close to the human because of the input data that these algorithms have been trained on. So earlier we used to write programs which are more kind of static kind of programs, where we do if, else, for, loop, and these kind of conditions we have to write. But humans think in more in a within a spectrum. All humans do not think in a zero one or these kind of tree form of structure. We think in more in a more in a continuous way. So that's why these AI kind of applications change the way these algorithms are built. These algorithms are not built using static programs, they are dynamic. By the dynamic, it means whatever data that you show to the model, it will adapt the algorithm, let's say the model algorithm, with the data that you have fed it to. So now that's the difference. AI and software applications have been different, and they have now AI has been matured to a level that they can mimic the human voice or generate deep fakes kind of thing, where it is difficult to identify a human generated text or a robot generated text. So recently, machine learning, earlier we used to discover what are the key features in the data. So by features we see what are the patterns in the data. So machine learning algorithm used to identify these patterns using feature engineering. But later, when deep learning arrived, they are now more complicated, complex algorithms that can induce features automatically from the data. So let's say you showed to the machine how the steel, particularly a video of the steel assembly plant or steel manufacturing plant. See, I'm not a very good at this domain, but I'm just assuming that you will pardon my knowledge. So let's say you show a video of the steel manufacturing plant to the, let's say, a deep neural network model. So now the model has the, after showing good enough amount of data, the model have good enough capability to answer questions. If you ask particularly like what is the missing piece for a given new input or new steel plant. So the model is now being trained with the steel plant data, that now it has gained capability to predict or answer questions from the, when you provide a new input or a completely new setting of the steel plant. Right? So this is how the things have been changed from past AI or software applications to now generative AI. Now generative AI has the ability to generate data. So deep learning was mostly limited to using neural networks to solve problems. But now generative AI can generate data. So by generating the data, it can generate text, it can generate video, as we saw. Given a text prompt, it can generate a video for you, it can generate image for you. So that's why we call it generative AI. So there is a generation component associated with the AI. Yeah, so that's how the progression of the AI has been, and the reasons due to which the AI has particularly leapfrogged is due to the availability of massive data sets. So that started from the web data sets that are present in the web pages, in the books, in the form of books, but they are mostly in English. So you realize why we are lagging in developing a good enough Hindi or non-English or Indic language model, because of the lack of the massive data set. So people are not trying with different strategy to generate massive data sets or text in, or extract text from unknown sources in non-English languages such as Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and so on. So this is the main difference, that most of the data has been present in web in English. That's why English works the best at this point of time. But yeah, the time is soon when there will be good Indian language models which you can interact with in our own native languages. And then after massive data sets, there is huge increase of computational power. So earlier there was a limitation in terms of how much processing particular CPU or GPU can do. Now with the introduction of GPUs for artificial intelligence, so if you could recall, we used to have GPUs for playing games, RTX kind of, or NVIDIA GPUs, where we used to play a good graphics game. If we need a good graphics game support, then we need GPUs in our laptop or PCs. So now these same GPUs have now been used for training or building these AI applications or AI models. So we have lots of improvement in how these GPUs can process the computations, the high computational demand of AI applications, building AI applications. And certainly without algorithms or models, the things will not happen. So now, due to the availability of these data sets and power and computational power, we have developed very advanced algorithms that can generate things which are very human and looks realistic. Yeah, so all of them are interconnected and they have leapfrogged the AI to the level that we see. So now coming to the next era of generative AI would be like kind of an AI factory, where there will be you can provide any kind of input from the perspective of text, audio, 3D image, or DNA, or a protein molecule. It can process the data and can generate the output in the required format. So this will be like, the AI will not be limited to now only web-based applications. It will be used in discovering new proteins, uh, which can generate new drugs, which can help us discovering new drugs, find new DNA patterns, or generate videos which are very realistic without being uh, doing preparing the uh, massive investment in for creating these videos and so on. Now, what are these large language models? So these large language models are basically generative AI models that have the capability to generate text. So these are large language and models. So large is the component because these models are large. So by large, we'll quantify what do we mean by large. But language is a component. So language is the ability to generate generate the text in particular languages, and these models are AI related. So earlier in 2017, there have been few research, but due to dramatic improvement in availability of data set, introduction of new algorithms, the LLM models can do image generation, can recommend new personalized content or new suggestions to the users, do any kind, do dynamic coding, dynamic code comments, function generation, text generation, translation, and so on. So all the things that we used to do differently, independently earlier. So for example, in 2017 or 18, Google Translate was not as good in Indian languages. So translated, then later in 2000, late 2018 or early 2019, it was very good in Hindi, at least translation from English to Hindi and other Indian languages. So translation used to be done by a different application. Image generation, we used to try Adobe Photoshop to try to pull in components to generate to create a new image. Then recommendations, we have a different model for life science research. So all these kind of applications that were independent earlier now can be solved together by these large language models, right? So that's why these models are estimated to be a one point solution for most of the applications that exist. Yeah, so I'll just begin with a demo. So this is a AI assistant in Indian languages. So as I was mentioning earlier, that the initial point of introduction in customer service agent would be we are talking to a bot in the background which can mimic human generated output and can be as close to human. And then the second point of introduction would be a actual human. So this will be reducing the burden of the um, to for humans to answer to cater to the human queries. So let me just try to play. Yeah, let me know if audio is audible to you. The slide audio. Can anyone let me know?
No, slide audio is not coming.
Not coming.
No.
Is there anything way do I have to enable it?
You can just try, stop sharing and share with your computer audio. You will get an option. Try clicking on
Yeah,
sharing and then
it's a shared system. Yes, you're right.
Hi, who are you?
yes,
Can you
coming
hear
up.
now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hello. I'm a chatbot, and I'm here to help answer your questions and provide information on various topics, specifically on government schemes and programs in India. I've been trained on a set of documents and can assist you with queries related to those topics. How can I help you today?
What is Central Herd Registration Scheme?
The Central Herd Registration Scheme is a central sector scheme that aims to register elite cow and buffalo breeds of national importance and provide incentives for rearing of elite cows and male calves.
Hi, who are you?
Yeah, so you probably got an idea like this is just a POC that we have built, but if you have a use case, you can build more human-like voice or more complex agent to answer user queries from different domains. So this is how the things have been progressing. People have been trying to build these kind of applications by combining different components like language model, speech recognition. So once someone speaks, let's say in Hindi or English or any other languages, one has to transcribe it, generate a transcript of it, and then feed it to a language model. Then language model, once it generates output, it feeds it to a text-to-speech engine. So text-to-speech engine takes the text as an input and generates an audio. So people have been now able to generate audios which mimic very much human-like. So if you have looked at YouTube now, many of the YouTube videos are now using these kind of text-to-speech audio systems to generate audio for their YouTube videos. So things are being progressing very fast for developing lots of applications, not only for the web-based applications, but also for non-web applications like AI factories, automating the processes within our factories and so on. So now next I'll explain you like what are the how can you build these applications by yourself. So there is one tool that is provided by NVIDIA, which is Inference Microservices, which we call it NIM, NVIDIA Inference Microservices. So this is free for developer and research purpose. So you can use it to build your POCs and see if like things have been satisfying for the use case for which you're trying to build, and you can build these applications very quickly. The POCs can be done in a very rapid manner. So given a use case, you can do it in like 1/10 or 100th of the time that you have been expecting earlier. So these inference microservices are like pre-built containers. So pre-built containers are basically Docker containers. So if uh, like Chandraji told me that most of the audience here is not very tech, so I'll try to explain in a very simple manner. So we have an operating system. So Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, and these kind of operating systems are there. So now above operating system, there is, we call it a container. So container is kind of a virtual operating system. It's not a virtual operating system. It's a kind of virtual operating system. It can have its own RAM, its own hard disk. So this is basically, this is used to do because if you want to port your application from one computer to another, which is for a different operating system. Let's say you're building for Windows operating system, but now some other server has a Linux operating system. So this Docker container is a self-compiled container which contains all the relevant libraries, dependencies to run your application. So you can just take this container and port it to any machine without having the hassle of satisfying the OS related dependency. So this inference microservice is a container. So this container includes the language model. So let's say if you want to solve for the purpose of building a AI assistant, AI research assistant, or customer service agent, then these containers contain these models like text models, text to speech models, or speech recognition models to build your applications. So I'll not go into much detail at this point of time. I'll just show you how the things have been progressing. So this particular NVIDIA NIM is a toolbox provided by NVIDIA that can reduce your development of POCs or final applications in a very small amount of time. So this has like all the standards which is necessary to build web apps, and there are these models which are available on NVIDIA platform are pre-built and optimized for the particular underlying hardware. So let's say if you have one hardware like 800, and then you want to port this particular application to another hardware. So these models are pre-built for different hardware and optimized for that particular hardware. So if you are moving from hardware 1 to hardware 2, so you just have to create your container again, and your things will be ready and optimized for that particular hardware. So you don't have to worry about that. And then it provides several facilities, like you can fine tune the model on your own data, or you can build these processing pipelines. So for example, you need to there are pre-processing and post-processing pipelines that happens with the model. So that is also like possible with these microservices in a very relatively lesser amount of time and very low code kind of thing. You don't need to be a very expert programmer to build these applications. And that's how the things have been different. AI has enabled all the all the kind of expertise kind of people. There were the particular programming expertise is not limited just to only the expert programmers. Now you can go to ChatGPT or Claude to write a simple code, POC code to get your application get started running. So you don't have to wait to learn in deep before to build applications. So you can just learn something and start building applications. And the meanwhile, during the process, you start learning and improving yourself. So that is how the things have been progressing very fast due to availability of these kind of models, which works as kind of your assistants. So now just to add on to what are the new things that are coming up. So I'll just show you probably one more thing in the same event. So there is media. So now NVIDIA is launching a kind of a hardware. So this is, if you can see my web browser, I'm showing one website here. So this is the Can you confirm if you can see my web browser?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Yeah, yeah. So I was alluding to the fact that now things have been progressing very fast. So now the specialized hardware that is needed to run these AI applications are no more limited to only confined to server kind of building a server and getting a good AC, good ventilation, and all this setting up things. So now Nvidia is launching one simple box, which is this is like a 7 inch in width and I think 4 inch in depth and 3 inches in height. So this is like a very small kind of that can fit in your palm. So the objective is that every individual who wants to run AI applications should not be limited by hardware available on their laptop or need a very large server in some third party data center to run their applications. They can buy this hardware and then they can build these applications very quickly, POC them, and they can build their own research assistant that they can help them to learn new things, answer problems, or even outsource their developments to third party to as an outsourcer or as a software developer. So this is like NVIDIA DGX Spark, which has some performance. I'm not going into technical details right now, but the objective was the AI has been progressing both in terms of software and hardware. So hardware is now not only limited to like big data centers or where you need good cooling and infrastructure. Now it can also accompany your laptop or even your desktop or even your monitor without any requirement of a cabinet to run CPUs and with some cooling factor. Yeah, if you want me to do the presentation or change the course of the presentation, let me know. But like I just want to give you the breadth of the things.
No, I think it's going very smoothly and in the right direction. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thanks for confirmation. So yeah, I'll not go into this software security and stability. I think this will be topic which can be dealt later when we understand the whole canvas of the applications. So sorry, it is progressing. Yeah. So now this particular inference microservices, as I told, is a container which can run on any kind of platform without worrying about the underlying hardware or underlying operating system. So now there are like the various models that are present in open source. So Meta has provided some text models, Mistral has provided, Google has provided. So these open source models are available. Sorry. So these open source models are available as a container that can be downloaded from the website that I'll just show you in some time. And you can build these applications by just in a low code manner. So you just have to import these containers, download them, and just write a simple program to test these applications for your to test these models for your own applications. For let's say for generating images, for generating 3D images or AI images, or even for discovering new proteins, some kind of diffusion models which can discover new proteins for your underlying applications. So this is how the things have been progressing very fast in terms of how you can build the applications, and also in terms of how hardware is being made available to different sets of users. So the users are not only limited to data center or companies who has the wherewithal to build these data centers. Now you can also do it, buy them, and keep them on your table to run it as an separate component. And thirdly, also in terms of models, so applications, hardware, and model. So model, there will be several models that are coming up. There will be few models which will be now available in Indian languages. Also, Government of India has launched an India mission to support the Indian community, both the academic and startup community, to build these models. And so there will be those models which will also be available in public very soon. And once they are available in public, the NVIDIA provides these microservices that you can use them, create a POCs quickly. So this is the breadth of the domains for which these containers are available. We'll go through that. I think this is a good time to go to the website, and I'll just show you how uh, how we can download and play with them. So this is one website, build.nvidia.com. Just go there. So this is the website. Once you log in as a user with your even your Gmail or your company ID, you'll get certain API keys. So these API keys are used to call these, made request to these applications. So you don't need the server at your end, or to install or download these containers. You can just call these models. So for example, if you want to try this particular Llama 4 which was launched recently, you can just go to this particular model, and then you can get the API key, and then you will be up and running. So this is how easily things are there to test the applications. And then apart from these models, the NVIDIA also provides some pre-built applications. So these pre-built applications are like particularly AI workflows that are designed for particular use cases. So for example, you probably have used like Notebook LM. So Notebook LM takes few input PDFs or a website source or text file and generate a podcast out of it. So NVIDIA has created this, replicating this similar workflow in the form of PDF to podcast blueprint. So this blueprint consists of several components. So as I reference to you about the audio to audio, the demonstration that we have seen in English, there are several components that are working. So these blueprints are also kind of several components which are working underlying in the whole application to like, for example, once you provide these PDFs, they will be extracted using some software, and there are like several models that are working behind to generate a podcast out of it. So these pre-built applications are, we call it as a blueprint that can be used by using the API key, I believe. And there is one more interesting, I think, is particularly video search and summarization. Yeah, yeah, this particular agent. So this is again a video summarization agent and a search agent. So what it does is it takes an input as a video, and you can interact with the video. So you can find out like what are the key incidents that have happened throughout the video. So this is particularly useful for security applications where you want to find out if there is any intrusion or any unfortunate incident or any another incident has happened due to in the whole video system from the CCTV, and you can issue alerts, build applications on top of it. So this is basically generally a video search agent where you can search in the video, you can interact with it using this particular kind of interface where you can ask the model where are the things that have happened and so on, and you can summarize the video also. So this is how this is the blueprint which is provided by NVIDIA. I think this can be deployed on some cloud. So if you have access to some cloud, it can be deployed on the cloud. So I'll just take you through the example. So the AI agent has been given this particular prompt: you are an intelligent traffic system, monitor and take note of all traffic related event, start each event description with a start and end time. So now this is how the model has generated this report. So initial scene from 0 to 9 seconds, there is an intersection with no vehicles. So first vehicles were approaching between 10 to 9 seconds. And then there is some incident which happened probably here, red truck and white truck. Okay. Yeah, collision between vehicles have happened between 80 to 81 seconds. So this as that this is running in the video. So this is how there is these blueprints that are available. This can be deployed on cloud. So this cannot be just run using the API key. So API key is basically you just take the key and build the applications. You don't need to run your model on your system. So you don't need GPUs or any infrastructure to run your models or get your applications running. You can just do that without requiring any additional server. But these blueprints are need to be deployed on the clouds with your own infrastructure. Yeah,
I'll
if you have any questions, please ask.
quickly come in at this point. Is it possible to run it on some live video stream instead of videos?
Yes, that can be run on this the streaming server, streaming video also.
Great.
And apart from this, there are like different models that are available. So I was particularly referring to this particular model Cosmos, which is for physical AI that could be useful for your use case, because the text models we already know, like we interact with daily. But these Cosmos models are basically physical AI models. So these are like you can generate future. So if you want to predict how your particular video will work for the next few frames, so you can generate future frames based on the input. So this is the input basically. This is the input, and now the model has generated the next input. So the prompt, which is a guidance to this particular model, is a first-person view from a perspective of a human-sized robot as it works in a chemical plant. So this is again just to get back the context. It is to generate new videos which can be used to develop models for your use cases, right? So if you want to develop, if you have a very complicated system which you want to understand, make the model understand things, so you want to give data, build data for to provide to the model. So you can use these kind of models, these physical AI models that can replicate the physical surroundings and the equations that happens in the physical world, and can generate the output. Yeah. And there are like other models which are text models, or speech models, which can translate the speech or it can generate the speech. So those models are also available here. You can log in and yeah. So this is the again TTS. So TTS is the text to speech model that you can use with the help of API. So let's say this is my particular English input. Let's say there is no Hindi input at this point of time, but there could be different models which can do that. Let's say let's run this. So it will take few seconds to generate this particular input in this in the voice of this particular robot.
Experience the future of speech AI with Riva, where every word comes to life with clarity and emotion.
So let's say if I want to change the emotion of this particular generation, I can also do that. So this is again a open source model that is available in public for people to use, and NVIDIA has optimized that particular model and provided you with the APIs so that you can run that and build your POCs for a
Experience the
limited time.
future of speech AI with Riva, where every word comes to life with clarity and emotion.
Yeah, so you can take note of this website build.nvidia.com, and you can play with all the models and also build your applications by taking the API key. So once you click on get API key, it will ask you for generating the API key, and once it generates the API key, you can use that to build some small scripts to build your applications. Yeah, if any question at this point of time, feel free to ask.
So I understand you said that it's a era of a lot of OpenAI like ChatGPT, where we can quickly learn about the skills that is required. But still, I want to ask if there is any specific skill set that is required if we want to use these APIs to develop our own models.
Yeah, so there are two things here. One is can we leverage the existing models to for our use cases? So with respect to skill set, you need basic understanding of programming and some understanding of how these applications are built. So application development is necessary to to build POCs and for your use cases. So this is one. And the second is if you want to develop your own application. So if you have your own data and you want to build or customize the model for your use cases from the data, from the given data. So for that we need some. There's the next part of the presentation basically. I'll just go directly there. Yeah. So this is the NEMO framework. So earlier what we have seen was NIM, which is NVIDIA Inference Microservices. And the second is if you have your own data or if you want to build models from scratch. So you need lots amount of data, very clean data, and you have to train these models on multiple GPUs, multiple nodes, which and run it efficiently for a longer period of time. So if you have your own data, let's say if you have interaction data from customer A from the between the customer and the human, and you want to now fine tune the particular robot to for the particular domain. Let's say there has been questions with respect to, you know, some financial related chat, financial related agent, human and the customer. So now, if you have that data, you can use the data to fine tune the model for and align the model for your own domain. So that is like there are different ways to do it. One is like if you have very small amount of data, then you can build instead of fine tuning the model, you just need to have build a RAG application. So RAG application is like retrieval augmented application, where you do not fine tune the model, but you align the model for the given documents. And the second part is you want to fine tune the model, customize the model, and change the parameters of the model and then use the model for the downstream use case. So there are like two ways you can do that. And for that particular purpose, NVIDIA has built this library, the NVIDIA Nemo library, which is which has several components to build your applications or fine tune the model, or even do not fine tune the model, just use the model to build RAG applications, which is aligning the model and taking the answer only from the documents, input documents that the application developer has provided. And yeah, so this is another library which NVIDIA has built, and you can use that um, for model development. And then this is again a very technical way of developing steps to train your model or fine tune your model. Yes, please.
So I have one more question. When we see a lot of our process data, which is generated across our value chain, might not be going on to the cloud. So it remains on our server in our premises, which are mostly offline data. So if we want to use these APIs or try to build some model, will it be possible without exposing our process data or process systems directly to the cloud or internet?
Right. Yes, certainly. So, so next part of the system, next part of the presentation, but I'll just to answer your question, I'll just go there directly. So you are right that this particular website build.nvidia was for when the model is already present on the cloud. So if you do not want to expose a model to the cloud, then we have to download the model and on our own server or our own premises if we are not using the cloud GPUs. Then there is this particular website or tool set which NVIDIA has provided, which is you can. So initially, I was referring to the containers, right? So these containers can be downloaded and can be deployed on your own premise GPU without exposing any data to the cloud. So these containers are again like pre-built. So if you have your own these GPUs with you, then you can use these containers, and then these containers will be the APIs or the when you are building the applications, the application will make a request to these containers which are on your GPUs, not on the cloud. So this is like the second way you can do that. Yeah. Hope this answers your question.
Yes,
So
yes.
earlier I was yeah. So earlier I was showing you the demonstration of this particular text to physical video generated model. So now, if you do not want your own data or your own prompts to go to the cloud, then you can use these catalogs, this particular Cosmos. This is the same model which I was showing you earlier, and this can be deployed on your own GPU systems, and you can now work this as your own premises without exposing anything outside. So these models are available as a offline also, and online also we have seen build.nvidia. For offline, this is the particular catalog, catalog.ngc.nvidia.com.
Yes,
So
that's
I'll
great.
just yeah. So I'll just in the benefit of time, I'll just show you one particular demo video just to excite
NVIDIA
the
Riva, a
aspect of.
GPU-accelerated SDK for building and deploying automatic speech recognition and text-to-speech-based applications, raises the customer service experience in contact centers across industries like financial services, telecommunications, utilities, retail, and healthcare. Riva does this with out-of-the-box models that deliver industry-leading accuracy. Models can be even further customized with your own data for the best accuracy across any domain. By generating an accurate transcript of a customer interaction in real time, Riva enables AI to provide contextual insights, measure sentiment, and recommend the next best action to the agent, ensuring a great personalized experience. It handles heavy accents or dialects and understands company specific brand.
A debit card for my.
Hi, thank you for calling. How can I help you?
Hi, I would like to open an account and I get a debit card for my son. My account number is 54267.
Absolutely. Is your son 18 years or older?
No, he's not.
Okay, we have a high school checking account that will meet your needs. Would you like me to set it up for you?
So this is particularly a recommendation agent that has been built. But you can, as I mentioned in the initial introduction of the customer, can be directly to the agent. So this particular human can be bypassed to answer from these recommendations by the speech robot
Go
itself.
ahead. Yes.
Okay, no problem. Sounds great. Card will be sent to you in approximately.
Riva also supports
Antes ha tenido que administrar dinero.
Spanish.
Hola, me gustaría abrir una cuenta para mi hijo de 13 años. Nunca antes ha tenido que administrar dinero y come mucho fuera de casa. Así que me gustaría establecer un límite de gasto para él.
For real-time natural conversations, Riva's
Yeah, so this was just to give you the idea of the breadth the things are happening. Yeah. So I think now we have 10 minutes. We can take questions, I guess. Sundaji.
You
Yes,
will be
sure.
receiving a text.
So I would invite if any participants would like to ask any questions.
Hello.
Yes, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Sir, we have a lot of interaction with Indian Railways, and the Indian Railways has a separate system called Freight Operation Information System. So, if we want to have extract data from them, so can we use the NVIDIA interface to extract the data, because currently Railways does not have an API integration with them.
Yeah, so I think there's no out of the box solution that I can recall right now. There are like various data extraction solutions that are present. So one is like that is particularly for the language models. So for example, for developing these language models, you need lots and lots of amount of data from the web. So there are like solutions which can extract data from the web, crawl data, and extract data from the web. But since your use case is particularly limited to, I think, the freight operations for which the data is sitting in the premises of the Indian Railways, I think there will be some guidance that can be provided if you tell me like if it's a web data or if it's a time series data or it's a database. Yeah, so
Actually, this is a
we can.
data which deals with it is there in the website, railway website. It basically deals with movement of railway rakes from say from plants to our customer premises. So these data, for example, it gives a snapshot of where these rakes are present, when was the rake dispatched, something like on those lines.
Okay, so right now I cannot recall if there is like some out of the box solution for this particular use case, but I think we can explore it later.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Manish
Yeah.
here, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Welcome, Dr. Manish
Yeah,
Budani.
yeah. My apology, I could not come. I joined late, around 4:15. So thanks, Ayush, for covering it. Since this railway question came earlier, we had discussion with railways, and in between also they wanted to have these kind of utility, what you said, to summarize, or they have the data like a particular bogie, if it is not working, or on the, then where it is stopped, and how to look for it and how to get better. Their current system is also good, I would say, and then they wanted further refinement. Current system is kind of big data approach, where they know from how many zones and which zone to which district and which district to particular then junction and where it is going, all detail they keep. So there, that thing was there, we were looking into it, and I think soon we may have something for them. I'm not very sure where it is, because both side, the data sharing, we also kind of afraid to take the data in our hand because of GPDR and other regulations. we want to work on all their data on their premises only. So something like that going on. But if you are interested, we can look into that later on. Yeah.
Great. I'll share the contact details, Mr. Rahul Bosrai. You may please, explore the possibilities. So we have a question. Yes, we have a question in the chat box from Mr. Pratik. Why are neural networks, deep learning models considered as a black box? Can the decision be uncovered? How does NVIDIA tackle this challenge? So that's a big question and a tough one as well. I would request Ayush if you can, shed some light on that. Yes.
Yeah, sure, sure. That's a very good question. So right now, when we were looking at this particular slide, so we progressed from AI to ML to deep learning to now generative AI. So why are these black box? This is particularly because of the model architecture consists of like several neurons, and these neurons are interconnected with another set of neurons, and this goes in like, so if you think of each neuron as one parameter, so now these neurons will go into millions or billions of parameters. So now when an input goes, let's say an input text goes into this web of billions of parameters, it is very difficult to understand like which particular layer or set of parameters are relating to what, in relation to generation of what kind of input. So the input and the intermediate generation is not very explicit in these kind of web of parameters. So earlier, when you have a smaller set of parameters, let's say in machine learning, when the feature engineering used to happen by human or in a semi-automatic way. So by feature engineering, I mean extracting the pattern from the data. So let's say if you have if you have some real estate related house prediction kind of model where you want to know like locality of a house is related to the house price, then the whether there is a nearby hospital or there is a school, and so many factors. So these factors are influence the generation or the estimation of the price. So when these features or these particular patterns or the important influencing features are related to the model, if these are very limited, then we can associate some explainability, or we can, we don't call this earlier machine learning model as complete black box. But when these features go into billions of parameters, then these models or these are very difficult to understand what subset of the parameters or what layer is related to in generation of this particular or intermediate generation. So that's why these generative AI models or deep learning models are kind of black box because of huge number of parameters. And yeah, and there are several intermediate interconnections, complex interconnections, or very large number of interconnections that happen within these models that uh, we cannot understand completely. I mean, partially we can understand, like we can from the initial layers of. So if you know, generative model consists of some kind of transformer kind of architecture which has attentions. So these attentions gives you the idea of what a particular input is associated with what part of the input, the input in the later sequence. But beyond that, there has not been much success because of these large numbers of parameters.
That was, I hope, Pratik, you got your answer. We have one raised hand from L&I. L&I is our logistics team. Yes, please, you can unmute and ask the question.
Good evening, sir. I had a question regarding the models that are available on the website. Are there any, as you just mentioned, like finding out predictive models like um, predicting the real estate price for depending on various features? Those kinds of predictive models are available or can be made in your website using your website.
In yeah. So in the website, the availability is mostly limited to these language models or ASR or these complicated text-to-speech models. So these real estate price prediction are more kind of, smaller models, which is particularly influenced by the input data. So if your real estate is particularly related to Mumbai, it will be have a slightly different model understanding than if it has been for Chennai or Kolkata or Delhi. So these are not general purpose models, so that's why these models are not available. Only general purpose model like Llama or text generation or speech generation models are available.
Okay. So predictive, more specific models are not available on the website.
Yeah, right. Only general purpose models, because the
Okay.
objective is like, yeah, there will be different use case for different localities, so then it doesn't make sense to upload all of them. But there are like there are like libraries, so GitHub libraries uh, that are provided or built by NVIDIA to so that you can build your models. So I'll just refer to you this particular library by NVIDIA, which is NVIDIA Rapids. So this is a data science library which has several algorithms like prediction algorithms, regression, classification algorithms that can be used from your own data on your own data to build models. So the models are directly not available, but there are suits of these libraries which can help you to build these models.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Great. Uh, do we have any more questions? Yes, Sandeep Sahuji, I believe that's a bit technical question. What we have a question from a learner in the chat box is, can we have AI in blowing off converters or blast furnaces and needs to take dynamic decision? Let me interpret that question. We have various processes in steel making, like uh, blast furnaces for making hot metals, and then further we have the steel. We have casters, then we have rolling mills. So what Sandeep ji is asking is that, can we have these AI models into our processes and use them for real-time decision making, or on that note? Yes.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I have looked at few applications of these kind of dynamic decision AI models. So these AI models are again very small, specific models, which are particularly for our own own geography or own manufacturing location or steel plant location. These are not general purpose models. So if you have data with you, let's say the input is, if you want to know what is the particular temperature, if you have this particular input at this particular speed, or whatever that you have as an input. So if you have the clarity in terms of the input and the output, then you can build these models, these AI dynamic decision based models, to augment or complement your decision making.
Great. So I would just add on to Ayush ji, what he has said is that, if you have lot of historical data, and you have very much clarity about your own functions, so you can convert your process, what you want from those data as a problem statement. And once you have the problem statement, then different AI models can be developed and trained on those data sets. And then further, maybe in the long term we can use those models in the real time as well for taking decisions. Yes. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Because we are past our committed time of 5 p.m. Okay. So it was a jam-packed 1 hour, and I'm sure audience found it really, really, helpful. At least a lot of clarity has been, generated. What is AI, and what are different, layers of AI, how models are working, how you can, deploy ready-to-use models which are there, uh, NVIDIA has showcased and shared with us so many APIs that we can play with, just to develop various proof of concepts and maybe build confidence that we can apply these tools in our workplaces. So that was wonderful, and let me usually Sanjay Dar sir is part of this post program conclusion, but he is on official tour. So and Atanu sir has recently left for another program. So I'll take this opportunity to really thank the entire NVIDIA team We also had Dr. Budani from NVIDIA. Unfortunately, he had a personal exigencies, but he joined around. I could not notice his presence. That is a very, very senior person with NVIDIA, and he was really kind enough to spare time on the Saturday evening, despite his busy schedule of traveling, to contribute to SAIL journey of learning in technology. It goes without saying that Steel Authority of India Limited extends our heartfelt thanks to Ayush Maisriji as well for such a wonderful and knowledgeable session, and it has immensely benefited us. And nonetheless, Future Skills Prime team, led by Mr. Neeraj Mani, who has been pioneer in providing the support in our capability building and emerging technology. I would like to thank all the participants, especially the senior management, chief general managers, and executive directors who could take out time to join our this episode of Knowledge Byte sessions, and of course the young mentors who are assigned and helping them to understand these nuances of technology. I would like to thank all the family of HR L&D team who could facilitate the Knowledge Byte session. On that note, thank you once again. See you again next month on the first Saturday with the new Knowledge Byte session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shantaji. Thank you, everyone.